developed a problem. I don't know if you can see this, but this split ring on the roller furling is broken, and I don't know whether or not I can fix it. The top piece is having the same problem that the bottom piece is having. This little tab is broken off, so it goes out like this. And you can see these little pieces of plastic are cracked, so they're just liable to break completely off. This top piece doesn't have much stress on it, so this will be easy to fix. But the bottom piece has a lot of stress pulling it this way. And so that's the one that I need to fix.
Oh, we finally gotten that bottom bit loose.
Yeah.
It took forever.
Patience is a virtue.
And using liquid gold.
Yeah. WD-40, pound on it a little bit. I tightened it a little bit, then I loosened it, finally got it to move just a tad, and once it broke free,
It's now moving.
now it's moving. My biggest concern was that I would actually break the nut or the bolt off.
See? Well, both are broken off.
Yeah, both are broken.
Not just one.
So there you can see what's broken right there. Bottom,
Yeah,
these go on the top.
and the bottom is metal, right?
Yeah, that middle piece is metal.
But the top one is
The
plastic.
top one is plastic, right?
The top one's not under that much stress
And
most of the time.
the bottom one that goes in here is also plastic,
Just say funny, Stephen.
right? Now, here's what happens. The rope wraps around the drum. But so the rope just doesn't slide off, you put it through there and you tie it in a knot.
Yeah,
Well, that means that when you pull on the rope really tight, it tries to do this.
yeah.
And so the whole thing structurally is held together by a little piece of plastic that looks like that.
Wow.
See, that one little piece
I see.
holds the whole thing together. That's all
I
the
see.
stress is on that one
Yep,
piece.
I see. Yeah, good planning, guys.
Good plan.
One piece I didn't see.
Oh. Everything is on that top piece.
Good planning, guys.
This is supposed to be in here. I put WD-40 on here first, by the way.
So we've welded the edges together so that it doesn't come apart, but what we're doing now is we're using that little brass grommet bit,
It's the threads.
the threads that are in there. We're using that and a soldering iron to rebind the two together properly, so that hopefully after a little bit of reinforcement we can put it back together.
Yeah, that worked really well. Melted that part together. So we're gonna try the same thing right here.
And that's not as broken.
Now this is just the initial phase, because first we're gonna weld. So what we did was we heated up the thread piece,
And then we squeezed it and fused all of the gnarled bits on the inside back with plastic by physically melting it.
now we're gonna weld the crack. The important thing about this is that you have to get deep enough that you melt the crack all the way through.
this is not a good repair for things that are structural. This is a good repair for just sticking them together. This is essentially just tacking things so we can deal with them without the pieces coming apart.
Well, we also want to get the screw threads in there properly as well. Now you don't want to burn the plastic because it gets brittle. So that's one of the things you need to pay attention to is the temperature. I'm going to make this larger with epoxy. We're going to wrap all the way around this.
Something of note on plastic welding though, almost always upon heating the plastic is more brittle than when it was new.
Now this one is not structural.
So
okay?
This is probably good for the top.
This is probably just fine for the top one.
I think we did move
think this
one
one
of
is
them
probably...
just a little bit,
Yeah.
but it'll probably be fine, right?
Well, I hope so. Since this is not structural, I might not do any more to this. We might just leave this be. However, this one I really want to strengthen.
Building a dam and filling it with epoxy.
I think we're going to build this whole area up bigger. So we'll put a layer of tape underneath that.
And then we can fold the tape up and pour epoxy into said tape.
We're going to get some tape. We're going to do exactly what Sam just said.
And we have one dam. As you can see, our dam didn't quite work, but that's why we put that layer of tape underneath. And that one didn't turn out so well, so we're doing a couple things to make sure it doesn't end up as bad. This first layer here is just a layer for future epoxy to stick to, but we are going to wait till it's tacky and more like a sticky candy.
We've doubled the size.
By adding a layer of epoxy. We're still gonna have to do a bunch of work in making sure that everything stays in one piece, but hopefully this will add a great deal of support.
So just a quick review, these little tabs broke on the outside edge. So we took the threads, we melted them back into the plastic, and then we reinforced the plastic by doubling its thickness with epoxy. It's gonna fit. And this one, we decided that because it's not structural, the welding would be good enough.
So we'll put it on the actual rigging tomorrow.
Yes, we will put it back together tomorrow. Right now, I just want to clean it up. Hopefully there you can see how much bigger it is. The crack was here where this broke off. So now the pressure on this, when it pulls this way,
should be distributed over more epoxy.
over a larger area. Yes. Okay, now comes the moment of truth, and we see if this repair fits, if anything got in the way. One of the common things that happens when people do a repair like this, or they reinstall, is they get the furling line backwards. Okay, so it unwinds clockwise. So that means that if it's unwinding clockwise, it's going to roll up counterclockwise. It's going to unwind this way, and this is going to wind it back up. So when that's backwards. See that? This is the line that needs to stay put. This unwinds it when you pull on it. We don't want that. We want it to wind up when you pull it. So it's got to go this way. So this way, when I pull on this, it will unwind. So that's the way she goes. And the thing to remember is, you watch how it's wound up here. And when I pull on the rope, it's going to wind. So, it's winding counterclockwise, it's unwinding clockwise. Now the argument could be made the line is supposed to go through this one, and I'm going to have to take it apart and do it that way. And if it's not in the right place, it can ride up underneath. So the line has to go through here. And I forgot to put this on the line before I tied the knot. So I had such trouble taking this bottom drum off. Put this on your screws and bolts, and it'll prevent that problem.
Besides, if you pound things apart with a hammer too much, you might not be careful enough to...
Well, you might damage the threads.
Yeah, the threads weren't designed for that kind of force.
And just think, then the next guy who owns the boat after you won't say, "Who the heck did this?" Just a note, always test things before you go back to sea. The last thing you want is to get out there and realize, no, I really did put it on the drum backwards or something like that, or it not work. So we just finished testing it, everything's working great.
If you like the video you've just seen and you would like to see more, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe.
Hey y'all! South Carolina. Hello again. See, shave these edges off.
Cool.
Hey, Hannah.
Yes.
Hannah, we have guests.
Okay.
So, no, actually, you know what? We can put it back together now.
Okay.